Come in.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
So welcome to Is It the Worst? Yesterday, I made a video about Star Trek The Next Generation asking, is it the best? So I said, well, let me do my research, take a look, and see what is regarded as the worst. But now this is by fans, critics. Look, there's always going to be critics, professional websites and all, which obviously could listen to the fans. I mean, if they don't, it's something crazy, right, with that. Full disclosure, before we go any further, I wrote for Star Trek The Next Generation, wrote for Deep Space Nine, pitched a lot to Voyager and to DS9, and so I've got, is it a conflict of interest? So I'm a fan, first and foremost a fan, but I'm also a pro Hollywood writer, so there is that. Just want to disclose it before we go further. But when Discovery came out, or when it was coming out, I remember months, we would talk about this, buddies and I who love Star Trek. And I said, oh, I can't wait. And, they were talking about stuff. And then Sonequa Martin Green was cast. Sasha from The Walking Dead. Wow. It's like, this is great. And then I guess we saw the trailer. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And then I started to watch. Now, I gave up, honestly. I guess it was 6 or 7 episodes, the first season or so. I stopped watching because I just felt that, okay, you could say, is it Star Trek or not? I mean, that's a big open question. What is Star Trek or not? You can go back and forth, exploration, science fiction, there's a host of reasons or elements to any television show or any genre. You could say science fiction, horror, fantasy, comedy, whatever. Okay, so bottom line is that I just gave up. I just thought there was the characterization, the characters, the stories just were not there for me. And if you go over to Rotten Tomatoes, you do a little Googling, and you look in an objective way, because you can like Discovery. Hey, you can love Discovery, Enterprise. Like, I don't particularly like Star Trek Enterprise. I think it's watchable. I think it's kind of boring in ways. I don't like prequels, but you can still like that. But when you look at comparative scores of Rotten Tomatoes, right here it says Star Trek Discovery is the very worst. The worst received of all Star Trek shows, much lower than Star Trek Picard. So Star Trek Picard on Rotten Tomatoes has a 57%, which is actually more than half. I was surprised, because I don't like Star Trek Picard. But Discovery has 33%. This makes Discovery the most poorly rated Star Trek TV series of all time. And it goes on to say it's the best public measure of widespread fan reaction that often drives the popular conversation. So again, when you say what is the worst, or for that matter, the best, that's not a subjective thing. That's not an individual thing, or it shouldn't be. You should go by an aggregate, a collective, and say, hey, this is what's percentile. This is what the database or the polling is suggesting. It's like saying Oscars. Like, you can love that movie, but only one can win that Oscar or that performance or what have you, the Grammys, the Tonys, whatever. Doesn't mean you can't like it. It doesn't mean it's not good. But in terms of popular perception or polling or voting, obviously with those shows, it's a member academy. But I'm saying that in terms of television or film, when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, maybe IMDb as well, if you go over to IMDb, but Rotten Tomatoes is usually the last metric in ways, or it's the most accurate metric. I know people say, well, sometimes Rotten Tomatoes can be a little shilling. They can be biased. It's possible. But when you look at the fan aggregate in total, Star Trek Discovery is the worst received by fans. And when you think about it, when all is said and done, isn't that the only thing that matters? Like the Discovery actors can be proud about that show. Great. Again, Sonequa Martin Green is a great actress. I loved her on Walking Dead. I wish her well. But it's Discovery, I would say, is not her or her cast's finest hours in terms of the fans. So what do you think? What is your verdict? What do you think? I can list many reasons why other Star Trek shows are weak or fail. But in terms of fan reaction on Rotten Tomatoes, it's Star Trek Discovery. So what do you think? Give us your thoughts. Give us your feedback. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're subscribing. See you soon.